what I thought. Do what you're told. You do what you're told, Facebook.
Can you talk really? Yeah, like intro.
Like,
Hello? Testing, testing.
testes, testes. One, two, three. We are live. How's it sounding? Does it sound good?
Sounds good.
Yet another great friend giving us some of her time to just, you know what? I think one of the most amazing things as we're going through this, Ross. Stories, 10 questions, 586B, yeah, 24 hours live, stupid stuff. But one of the things that I find amazing is all of the support.
Yeah.
That the number of times that I'm just blown away by people going, I want to take part in this, or wow, thank. The one that blows me away every time is thank you for letting. And I'm like, aren't you doing me a favor? I thought you were doing me a favor.
I haven't gotten that response yet. But I did. Thanks for the opportunity.
Yeah. That
And I was
it's like,
I was confused. I was like, it doesn't feel that way. I'm doing. Like,
yeah.
but I guess
all I
it
know
is
is
that big a
gratitude.
deal.
I I don't know either. I'm just doing this thing I'm doing.
Thing I'm doing.
Doing this thing you're doing?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, have you met our friend Sarah?
I think I have.
Probably have.
I think once or
I think once or twice.
Couple times.
times.
Couple of times.
Yeah.
Couple of times.
I think I recall.
Is that your birthday?
Yes, you were.
That's true. That's true. 19. God. Oh my god. Anyways.
What?
Sarah.
I was being facetious. I'm sorry. I was being.
No, I wasn't.
I
didn't
know
mean
who
it
you
like
are.
that. Oh,
Okay. Okay.
I knew. We all knew that.
Okay. Cool. Good. Good.
Man. Where are you?
I born in
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Love me some Peoria. So you. So at what age do you finally get here?
Was 1998, and it's starting the 7th grade. And
Coming in just at the wrong moment.
well, the school that I came from, starting through all in one, and you came 20 here. That was it. That was grade.
Right.
So we had 500 kids, kindergarten through 8, and I came here. There were 1,200 kids in only 7th and 8th grade. It was
And you
terrifying.
felt lost.
Terrifying. And when I was in volleyball, basketball, track, I didn't try out for any. Basically,
Yeah.
I already had all these. I just did not feel like I could. It really.
Yeah. And when you move often, so here's an interesting question. So you moved a bunch up till 13, right?
Correct.
Now, one of the things that's come up a couple times today with people that like every couple years, military kids. My dad moved a lot. My mom and my dad. My brother
Together,
with us actually. No,
Amazing.
I tried. But one of the skills that I think a lot of us have talked about is the idea that got really good at sliding in and being accepted, but we knew better than to get close to anybody because you knew you were going to lose people. That you know what you knew in a few years we're never going to see any of these people again. And what? Okay, so my memory was about 3rd grade. There was a kid that moved. It was my best friend. Like the year before we moved. Like we'd only been there a year, and the kid I really liked moved. He was my buddy. I'd walk every morning. I walked across town and Iris. And
Okay.
there were at the time there were two, not like the first school right next to the house. I agreed to walk to the other side of you, about a mile.
Okay.
I swear, I'm not making. And now my memory of a mile my mom may go, that was not a mile. My memory, I was
Sure.
in first grade.
Right.
It was a mile. And train tracks everywhere. Lots of train tracks.
Oh yeah.
Um. Oh, so then in third grade though, but so then he moved, and then I end up in class, and then we moved. So like it was boom, boom, and I swear that's when that thought hit. That it was as far back as third grade, and then I felt like not gonna.
Try too hard.
Yeah, well, yeah, absolutely, and not as a blame. I don't blame my parents for it. I mean, really, in all honesty,
It's life,
it's
and I
just
think
life.
overall more resisting quite a bit.
You know
You're
what?
more
That's
adaptable to.
Yeah.
you know what. Also, was it Tiffany that just said that
Yeah.
too?
Yeah.
Tiffany Military, the young lady that was just here. We
You
were
you
having this
you have an easier
conversation.
time. You have an easier time going with the flow of things,
Yeah,
and you can make acquaintances really easy. Like friendships are
are
like,
hard.
Yeah,
yeah,
it's very different.
Yeah,
Very
it's
it's a
different.
hard.
different thing.
It's
People like will as being well liked, very popular,
Yeah.
but
In reality, it's like
no.
everybody's a surface level friend. It feels.
But I
yeah.
think I prefer that way. Even as an adult, where now I have the day. Um, for the most part, I keep everything, and I feel like safer and happier that way. Have a one or
But
two close friends that are enough that like I let in,
yeah,
but I don't really have any more than that. I'm okay with this reality because then I get my needs met, my social needs met. I can go out to this group, this
well,
I
right,
go talk
right.
to
No,
this
I
group
get
for
that.
this.
There's a freedom to it.
Um, and it's a lot less because friendship takes work, just like
Well, and
relationships do.
so and right, and the hard part is that, and we were talking about this earlier, is the hardest part that I had to come to terms with as I was getting older, a lot older. Like literally, so as I was coming up on 50, was it wasn't that good friends were hard to find. It was that you had to be a good friend to keep good friends. Now, I was fortunate. I had a bunch of people that had tried to be good friends to me over the years, and I've been able to repair some of that. But you know, reality is, it's interesting because it's one of
Yeah,
what's the first thing you remember? Far back as you go, what that? Close your eyes.
I
You're
think
just a little bitty girl.
I think that other bit I had to Colorado. My
Right.
brother
Okay.
and he come from church. My parents got in me, and I so desperately
Right.
so I remember changing into I will never live. I looked like a goldfish. It was this bright, fringy, sparkly suit with like a tutu on.
Pretty sure they still sell that one
They
in little
Yeah,
girls'
probably
sizes. I
do.
think
they
I've seen the
probably do.
goldfish
Yeah.
suit.
They probably. I felt.
That's
I think I.
all
But
that matters.
I'm ready. I've got my swim. I'm ready to ride and dig. Michael, brother. I can't find your brother. You can't go get in the pool. Wait, let me find Michael. Cannot find him. And my mother is like, where? House running up and down the stairs. I remember front, um,
Right.
find him. My mom calls 911 anywhere, and I guess the dispatcher was calm down
Not
to
one of
do.
those easy tasks.
Um,
But she's very opinionated.
but I remember feeling so terrified in the pit of my stomach at 4, brother up and down front of our house. Why I'm looking
Well, right,
for.
but no, you're right.
Funny thing is,
Where
we
was Michael?
finally found him. The basement had one of those little pole tents that like looks like a kid's house, like a
Okay,
playhouse.
I know the ones you mean.
Well,
I think
he
I've
had,
assembled some of those.
yeah, he had gone into the basement, go play in the. So he didn't hear anybody calling for
That happens.
him. Nobody.
That happens more often than people think.
Of course, that was the last place we looked, and my mom. I remember her phone with 911. Oh my God! I found him! I found him! I found him!
I want to swear at some point, some child I was rearing somewhere along the way, it was that a child fell asleep under a bed during hide and seek.
That sounds.
Well, they were all. It was a great hiding spot, and it was comfy. And then eventually nobody came, and then you felt, like I
The
could picture
worst
laying
would
down
be
under
like
a bed and
if
falling
you
asleep.
woke up in the hiding spot. I'd feel really some type of way about that. Like they never found me and they didn't bother to look.
Well, if there are police downstairs and they're ready to put out a search, is
Well,
that good
yeah,
enough
that's a
for
good
you or
point.
not?
Yeah, that would
Okay, good. I
It's like
suppose
come out of your room rubbing your eyes like, what are the police doing here? They're looking for you.
they're looking for you. And that's childhood memories are interesting because the scale changes, the perspective changes, the
I remember tripping over a fence trying to run. Like get back in the house. I didn't have to do it. Get back in the house.
right? Just
I think our memories change too because I will tell I remember my mom will go, that never happened. That didn't happen.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you what, I know I got lost in Target one. I 100% know I did.
they deny that.
Oh no, she'll say I got lost in Target. What she said didn't happen was the part that I most important part of the story that I tell people because I had been ready to move to
Okay.
Illinois and we had gone to Target and she had let me go the next aisle over. And I guess or she wandered, we could find each
Let's
other.
be honest, Sarah. We know what happened. You wandered.
So I was wearing this like tracksuit. Like
Okay.
it was like black sweatpants and a black sweatshirt. And I lost and I remember hearing some loudspeakers finally say something because my mom is and I'm telling you what, where it happened. Okay. They brought a child up to my mom.
Yeah.
And my mom's looking at the girl going, daughter, because the girl that they brought was a black girl. And the security guy said, well, ma'am, you said that you lost your daughter, the little black girl. But apparently,
In a
what
black
my mom was
tracksuit.
trying
She
to
was trying
say
to.
was black clothes.
Oh.
Oh.
But so I don't know.
Who is?
I
So
don't.
they went and stole some
Who's
other,
was that?
some
Whose
nice
kid was that?
black family's child was stolen to try and make your white mother happy. That's what happened there. That's racism at its worst. They literally went to a black family and stole the child in order to make a white Karen happy.
Like, how would they? I mean, what are the odds that there are two children
Lost
wandering
children,
without
exactly.
parents? But that it happens to be a black girl and there's a white girl too.
I just picture this really angry couple storming up behind the security as they're dragging off this child.
Well, imagine what it would look like. Like my mother. Like, did no one stop to think for a second before
Well,
coaxing this little girl up to the front? Like
maybe
lost kids at the same time. I guess it's possible.
I
don't know.
guess it's possible.
All I know is I got a free white cherry icy out.
got rewarded for wandering off.
Guess so, yeah.
And
Well, I
this is
probably
where the
got
wandering off starts.
Yes,
I
where the
probably got
water-
rewarded because my mother is nuts and they wanted to, get me away from her frantic behavior
Well, to calm.
and said, "Here,
the
let's get you
situation.
an icy." Yeah. That was where my
there
love
are
was-
days we all need an icy.
Yeah.
I'm not saying an icy's off.
Nice I see him.
Nice icy would make you feel like nice,
Nice
right now.
right
I
now,
almost said
yeah.
ice.
icy. Nut.
Icy.
You see what I did there?
How do you work?
How do I?
What does that mean? I know it's a Rorschach question.
Uh,
On it to me.
I best work like at the end of a day, night before
What
due.
like to just
I'm a procrastinator.
I'm yeah,
Um, and I tend over the years, get scolded for me,
right.
but found I have produced far better skill if I'm waiting until the last minute than
Okay.
if I try to plan and try to
Well, I
pieces.
scheduled all of this on Saturday. So I mean, no, I don't. Yeah, no
It causes issues. Um,
Yeah.
deadlines at work or life
just in general.
in general,
Um,
everything.
but the difficulty now is that I've found myself remotely, not by choice because I didn't have a option.
Right.
So I took the I made it very clear my superior not I will this be the most, but this is the opportunity right now
And I
because
want to stay with you guys. So
that's
will
what's
you?
important to me.
And the idea was that they were going to work on finding a position that fit better. Yeah.
Correct. And works on the radar, but given that I have adapted into there's talk that my superior
The problem is you don't. You would prefer to not be remotely,
I am not good. But me, a woman with ADHD, procrastinate, very small place, very
Hmm.
easily,
right? Right.
and you leave me at home
Yep.
and
With a
say,
computer.
put this headset on and get on the computer.
Yep.
I struggle. I can be in my house
I
and
found
still be 10
the
minutes late.
closer you are to a job, the later you will be,
Yep.
because you will constantly be like, "Oh, I have enough time," and you'll be late every time.
So I'm fortunate enough that I have laptop, desktop,
They can't move it
so
around.
they can't move around. I cannot not move
Right.
around. When I tried to stay at my desk,
Mhm.
sitting with the headset on, woke up when I heard the beep here to answer a phone call, but I should have been doing work. So I have gotten into the habit of laptop. I'll work on the desktop, but I run
Okay.
the phone program through the laptop. So I get
See.
fancy. I can pick up that laptop. I will go laptop into the kitchen and I'll do
While you're waiting on phone calls, or
100%. Yep. Now that I'm working remotely, it's work, but we just added two people to the team. So the call volume is a lot less than it was weeks ago when I was working 30.
I do remember that.
I don't have to do that now because we've added two calls that
The
individually,
volume
which is great. But the idea is I should be working tasks that are
that you were
accumulating.
supposed to be doing when, but you were behind because okay, you had to get the phones, but now
Right.
the problem is the phones are off your ass,
And
and
I'm
now their
not
bosses are.
yeah, and well now I'm not keeping I am keeping tasks, but there are plenty of where I pick up my and I'll off the laptop. I need to be in the
Well,
house.
right. No, that makes sense. I mean, are you have a nice little desk area that you found. Nice breeze out there, and
And it's an easier place for me to focus because
not all yours.
desk I can see all of the I can see and it gets very overwhelming. Um, I all of the things that need to get done I can place in the back of my
Get you.
Um, but I do really like the ability to be able to start
Well,
cooking dinner
yeah, well, at a minimum, to be able to like, yeah, get stuff started, throw stuff on the pan, and
or start a
be
load of laundry or fire. So there are perks, but I had a meet and was that that beginning kind of was like it kind of
what did
threw me
she?
off.
Wait, did she go?
It was a very I'm not um angry or upset about
Oh
this that
no,
she brought
you're right.
up, but it was I guess what was shocking I had noticed. Um because initially I was getting up and I had a meeting packets so I always had fun and in the last couple of weeks it has not been that way. Um
Yeah,
There's a mess and I'm getting on
your
video
self
and
care was full.
and that was kind of what she was pointing out and I wanted what person I have a few friends, but like what is it that you ask them? But what should I ask for? There's nothing that this is a thing. Like,
Well, they could help you have face to.
but I
There are
think the
people
simple
that
fact,
care about you and like, hey, yeah,
but the
or
simple
just
fact that she brought it up that way, I think was enough for me. I had almost like
well, yeah.
talking on phones. I don't.
Do you think it was more irritation with it than it was?
I think it was frustration, the lack of Ben know how,
Right?
and one of my watch me. They couldn't do without me. That
No,
important,
right. I got you.
but coming on, I was for my boss. I knew that that support for me valuable was getting the
Right.
rest of the team, and I was concerned because I thought, okay, well, if I am super helpful and that around, and that's I think where landing at
Are you tried too hard?
well, I didn't um I just did what I do. Did
Right.
my job. I just tend to innovate in a way that none of the other
You're
team members
it,
are.
right. You think about it.
So set of skills that I with are desirable, and my concern have more pull over what I will. So having this conversation
Yeah.
saying I'd like to go somewhere else, all she's going to have to do is go, I absolutely
Yeah. You're
and
right. And
that
so is that the position you feel like you've ended up in?
I'm kind of worried about that. So I emailed kind of gave her background about what my goal was getting back into and because oh we don't have
Not
like
worried about the
where
monkeypox.
I want to go. No,
I know. I just
not. Um,
it only worked on one person. That sucks. Anyways, go ahead.
but I want to be not in Ohio. If I'm gonna move company, I don't want to move to another area of Ohio. If I'm gonna go somewhere else for this company, I want to go outside of Ohio. Uh huh. Huh? It was not my choice to come here in the first place. This is just sort of how where
Years ago, though.
at at 13 when we moved here. Now I did go to college out of state, which
Where'd
is
you
where
go to
I'm
college?
West Virginia,
Okay.
and I went. I thought I'll go as far away as reasonably possible, and I'm gonna go by a different name. I'm gonna clean slate, fresh start, all of that. Um, That did not work at all. But I did meet my
No
first.
matter where you go, there you are.
Yeah, well, that's what happened. I met my first husband in college, but because I was so desperate to not go back to Ohio, I made a lot of poor choices.
Right, right.
Stayed in West Virginia, got pregnant, got married, had a baby, lived a miserable life with my husband. Um,
So
and
what city in West Virginia?
well, we were in Morgantown at first, and
Isn't
then
too bad.
yeah, but then my husband took a job, um, coal mine. Yeah, I know. Your face is exactly the face I get because it is that
It's good
like
money. I no,
Appalachia
I know why. Okay,
kind of story.
I did. So one of the things I did was electronics pickups, all east of the Mississippi. But I spent a lot of time in that portion of West Virginia. Handled all of AEP's pickups. Ticketmaster has a giant place down there near Morgantown that's like an old mall that they bought, so all their computers had to come. No, it's a salt of the earth place though at the same
Yeah,
time.
well, and
But then there's nothing.
yeah, well, and it paid well, but it required us to sell out of. So we moved to a town called Parsons, West Virginia. Parsons, West Virginia is at the bottom of a mountain valley. We had one car and a baby. And the population of Parsons, West Virginia at the time that we moved in was 78 people.
All of them coal miners.
Or old, whatever.
Well,
We
right,
we
but
didn't have a street address. We didn't have a house number.
you just put your name on it, the mailman knew where you were.
No, we had to get a PO box. We had a post office box in the next town over.
Oh, the mailman just didn't come
Yeah,
there.
there was nothing.
The mailman does not ring twice.
911 actually was coming around asking us to apply a house number to our location so they could finally map access to this town. So up until the time that we lived there were no emergency services even coming here because there were no addresses. There was no way for them to find us because there was no street name, no home address. So I
Good
couldn't call
time.
911 and say,
Well,
I'm
and you had
on.
no car.
We had one car.
Well, I'm assuming the car is the coal miner in the day.
Well, so in order to, because we also had a baby, in order to keep
That's what I mean.
the options safe for the baby, I would have to get up. I would make my husband his and pack it up. We would all get in the car, and I would drive up the mountain, drop him off at work. It was a 45-minute drive to get up to where he goes to work. And then I'm like, 45 minutes. Okay, well, now I got to drive back down the mountain to get home.
Nobody else worked in the coal mine that could have picked his ass up? Anyways,
I don't
go
know.
on. I'm
I
sorry.
don't know. That's a great question.
You know
He's
what?
not really a social person. He was not one that would have, I think, asked for that. So
Is he? Where's he now?
he lives.
Still in West Virginia somewhere?
No. Yeah. So while we were living in Parsons, mind you, I couldn't work because there was no daycare.
Right.
There was
right.
no way to have
Who were
a
you
sitter
good-
or anything.
Yeah.
So I just stayed home with the baby.
As is meant to be.
And
No,
one
I'm
day, he home and he on the phone with I think his mom, and I hear him on the phone say,
Right.
"Well, I quit." He didn't tell me. He didn't.
He told his mom first?
Yeah, they had a weird, but yeah.
West
So
Virginia.
I found out that he quit his job. Well, saying jobs are really not easy to find in a town with a population of 78 people. So we were sort of trapped in a pretty tough place.
Well, wouldn't you go, okay, but he just random, oh,
Yeah, quit with no notice. So I ended up
how long
calling.
did he work there?
We're only there for 4 or 5 months. Very long.
What isn't that coal mining's for everybody?
Well, he was doing surface level construction or something. He wasn't actually
So it
down
wasn't
in the
even that.
mines.
So what was?
I don't know, but he.
I
quit
was
the job.
feeling for dude there for a minute. I was at least going, okay. I don't want
He's
to
a
go work
coal
in a coal
miner.
mine.
I don't
He's
wanna
a
work
coal
in a
miner.
coal
I don't
mine
want to be
either.
a coal miner.
No.
You want to be a coal miner? I want to be
No.
a coal miner. You want to be a coal miner?
No.
I don't.
Yeah.
No.
No one
Black
wants to be a
lung.
coal
I'm gonna
miner.
get my black lung the old-fashioned way. I'm smoking my cigarettes.
Right. No, he was a surface level employee. Like he was working
I don't
on
feel
the
for. I don't
surface,
feel nothing for him anymore.
doing construction style work. But
Construction
he quit.
style work, not actual construction work, but work in the style
In the
of
style of
construction.
construction, yeah.
I couldn't tell you what he did. I have no idea. But when
So
he
you were a
quit,
very attentive spouse as well.
listen, I took care of everything other thing. So, but he
But
quit.
maybe it was that you guys were young and that
We were extremely
not
young,
good at that bit.
and I was focused on
Wait a
trying to
minute.
be a
You guys met
parent.
at college.
I was a student in college. He wasn't. I was.
Okay.
I became friends with his sister, and then I met him. So, but I ended up calling my dad and saying, "Hey, we're kind of in a tough spot. Like,
Right,
is there
right.
something you can do to help us?" And he said, "I will pay off that credit card debt you have. I will rent you an apartment here, 6 months, and I will pay for your U-Haul for you to pack it up and move it up here." So he's saving our asses. Is what he's doing, and he's also getting me back to a place where I'm familiar.
Well, he felt, yeah, that he wanted you safe.
And so we did. We took advantage of that, and we moved up to here together apartment and got a job. I got a job, but all of a sudden, whereas he knew me as Elizabeth because that's what I went by in college, everyone in Ohio knows me as Sarah. So when he would meet my friends and they're calling me Sarah, my parents are calling me Sarah, threw him off, made him feel some type of way. He
What?
wasn't, yeah, he wasn't a fan of the fact that babies cost money. Um, and so when I had asked him for money for a formula,
I do love some of these stories because there's some of
You
these. Really,
can't be not a
that's right up
fan
there
of
with.
it. It's just a fact.
it's just, yeah, it just is what it is. But he did not like it, and I asked him for money for formula one time, and he told me go ask my dad, and I
Oh
was
wow.
like, my dad is the reason that we have this place. I'm not gonna go ask him for money when we both have jobs. I'm just saying that.
Where was he spending his money?
Well, it turned out he was gambling. Um, but I think we were there together for like 8 weeks, 12. And I woke up one morning and he was rushing to leave the house to get to work and he couldn't find his keys. So I'm trying to help him find his keys. And we had one of those like bumbo seats for the baby
Yeah.
and
Okay.
it was on the counter. And I picked it up thinking maybe the keys were underneath it. It wasn't the keys, but there was this note underneath it. And he saw me lift this up and see this note and he took off like a bat out of hell. And I'm like, what the fuck? Now I'm not thinking about it. I'm trying to find his keys.
Oh,
I get
jeez.
him out the door and I immediately go look at this note and it's definitely, I'm leaving you. I'm not coming back. This isn't what I thought it was going to be. I want to spend my money on what I want to spend it on. I'm gone. So that was that.
I
He
always
left.
felt really responsible for like the idea that I had to decide, like I had to decide to make a child. Like weirdly, I felt strongly about that. I mean, don't get me wrong. And a woman said, "Hey, can you make me a baby?" And I said, "Oh yeah, I know how to do that." I was 19, and I
The reason that I even got pregnant when I did is because he came to me and said, let's have a baby. I want to have a baby. I want you to have my baby. Now I wanted to be a parent, but he's the
did you
one
finish your
who
degree?
asked for that. Nope. Nope, sure didn't. I got my MRS degree, as my dad likes to say. But yeah, so he left, and I didn't see him for a couple of months after that, actually. And the next time I saw him, had bought himself a brand new car, a little two-door thing, and I looked at that car and I thought, they'll never understand what it takes. Like I'm
Oh.
looking at this car thinking, how are you going to put a car seat in here? Like you're going to have to open your door and pull the seat back. Like this is the safest choice.
Does he play any part?
Uh, no. So he moved back to West Virginia. We got divorced, and at some point when Casey was about 11 or 12, he moved to Florida, but didn't tell Casey. Casey saw him about once a year until then, and then it was
And, yeah.
3 years, and um then his mom died. Casey's grandmother, mom, and I took Casey to the funeral because he was close with his grandma, and that's the kind of thing
Reasonable.
you
That's how
do.
you do that.
Right.
And I thought maybe that would be the catalyst that would bring their relationship back together. It was not.
Now his mom's not even pushing for it.
Yeah, so he took off to Florida, and that was that. And then
Okay, I've officially decided. How do you play?
how do I play? I don't know that
That
I
was how do you
do.
work?
Oh yeah. That
No,
was
no, no. I
bad.
love listening. No, I actually, I
I
would,
was just
What did
listening.
play?
I
because
just
I
enjoyed
find it really
listening.
interesting that my outlook as a man is very different on what I expect of myself as a.
Well, I think it all worked out for the best. I think the one thing that all of like the lack of parental role lives actually made me better at playing. Um,
Oh wow, look at her working over
because I'm a better parent by myself than I am with a partner. That's something that I have learned about myself,
there. Right.
and I have chosen actively to put my children first. So I've chosen actively not to seek a
Sound is
partner.
off and on. On says.
Yeah, I texted her. I changed
fix it?
something and then texted her back.
Sorry.
It might be that I had you guys too low.
Okay. Well, it might have been that I
'Cause
was
you
way too
guys
low.
are-
I was sitting back some.
It's okay.
It's the getting tired thing. You know me. Towards the end of the night, my legs up on the desk, and I'm way too far away. Well, so it's been some work along the way.
I play like a kid. I look at life, um, and I want to find joy in the little things. I do find joy in little things. I get excited about the dumbest things, but it brings me so much more joy. I'm
Yeah.
more
No.
creative.
Absolutely.
Um, I'm very spontaneous. I'm not a big planner, so like when I have kids over at my house and I'm like, oh, we gotta do something. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not a, oh, I've got this activity I've been planning for weeks. No, I go open a cabinet and go, what do I have in
What do
here?
we? What do we
Pull a
have?
bunch of
Let's
stuff out.
be
Let's
right. Let's
creatively
make
come up with
something.
something. On the flip side of that, though, I think I probably don't play as much now. I feel like I'm more reserved. I'm more serious,
Yeah.
and it's actually something that I want to work on because I kind of miss the playful side.
Well, I think you have to have it. I actually one of the things that I've seen as an interesting aspect of doing this kind of these kind of questions is the number of adults that get to, well, how do you play? And they're like, I I should work on that. Not a they don't realize that it matters, but they go, yeah, I should be better at that. That I I love playing, but I'm really only good at it when I'm playing with him.
Yeah,
Anytime I'm not it's like I don't, actually though when I watch the other kids, I get down on the floor with Forrest and I get
sure.
down that, but I've gotten to the point where unfortunately I feel the weight of everything else. Even like I've got a video game that in theory I downloaded so I would play it with some people. That I would set aside time to go, okay, I'm going to take an hour and it's mine.
Right.
I'm no good at it.
Yeah.
Because what happens is I feel too guilty.
Yep.
About the things that
Doing
you
something
haven't
for
done.
you. Yeah.
Well,
I feel bad
that's
about
the
that.
reality of it.
You feel guilty.
Now, don't get me
doing
wrong,
something
you
for
come up with a million things, but really what it is it's guilty about making yourself important.
Mm.
But that's it, and it's so important to do that because you tend to lose the the sense of who you are if you don't put yourself first.
Well, okay, I don't think you have to put yourself first. I think
Sometimes.
no, sometimes I agree, but the trick is mindful, and I try to be compassionate to every all the living things around, like literally all the living things. It's enough to drive you crazy.
It does drive you
As
crazy.
I'm
Don't
talking to
smash that
Clyde
ant. Take it
well,
outside.
what'd that ant do to you?
It's
What if that ant
living.
has an uncle?
It's living rent free, and I did not invite it in here. It's trespassing.
God, that's the
Broke the
second
law.
time we've heard that
See?
today.
See,
Rent free didn't what or what? Okay, see if you can say exactly what your mom said.
my mom said
Was it
if
cut out of you or fell out of her?
if it didn't fall out of her or get cut out of her, and it doesn't pay rent, it shouldn't stay in my house.
We all got different ways of looking at it, but
She
ants and
was talking
spiders.
about snakes.
Well, if they're in there and they
She was
weren't
talking
invited,
about all animals. I
You
know
have a
my
pet
mother.
snake, thank you.
She was.
I invited the snake into my home.
Oh,
Then
that's a
it's
valid
allowed.
point.
I didn't invite the ants or the spiders.
She didn't throw in the invited part. Invited,
She
yeah.
was talking about all animals. I know my mother.
Oh, okay. She was
Oh,
talking about all
Yeah,
animals.
she
No.
just doesn't like animals.
if I choose to
Nice.
allow them in my home, that's fine. But I never opened the
Right.
door for the spider and said, "Hey, little eight-legged buddy, come on in."
Well, but
No, 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 no. So he is trespassing. He is
He is
breaking and
trespassing.
entering. He is not allowed in my home, and he will die or he will get out. I'm not going to casually be friendly and release him. No, he's going to have to fight for his life.
He's
And I'm a
gonna
lot
have to-
faster than he
In a
is.
past life, you were a female praying mantis.
Maybe I was.
F them and rip their heads off.
That would explain so much about my life.
You know?
But see, I can be playful. I am. I think there are times where I wish I was more of a risk taker and would be more like I'll hang out for. I'll use David as an example. He is a very like just comedic person. He finds
Yeah.
a joke everywhere. And there was a time when I was seeing him in the beginning where I valued that because I was like, man, I feel like you can bring out the playful
Right,
side of me. I
right.
like this. But then as it progressed, I realized that he didn't really have a serious side. And so I started to resent the playfulness because that was all I ever got.
Right, that there was
Right.
never a moment where he saw you.
Right. But then I did, looking back now, I do see where he would let things happen or let things slide that I maybe wouldn't. So I see the need for me to kind of let go a little bit more and be a little more playful.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I just didn't want always play. Like it's about
it's
balance.
a hard thing. Well, my theory is what it really is we all want to be seen and we're all afraid to be seen. And so there's this constant battle inside of us between these two very specific things, and the reality is, as much as somebody who's the class clown is a great time, part of what we're also wanting is, but do you actually, we talk a lot about in order to help somebody, you have to ask them what
Yeah.
would help, because
Otherwise, you're just gonna shoot blindly in the dark, and you're probably gonna miss.
well, by your perspective, you may be helping. The other
Yeah.
person may be resenting the fact that you're not helping. I claim in some places that if communication was part of those things. But at the same time, I get, but that it's hard. It's not an easy thing to figure out because it's a weird dance. And we get attached very quickly. I don't know if it's true in all societies, but especially here, you get past the third date and then it's hard to break up for some reason. That it goes serious very quickly. And then you end up with somebody.
I think the fear for me there is like I don't know. I mean, I have ideas for what I want my life to be like in 5 or 10. And the people that are in my life in a romantic capacity now, I don't see being part of the how I get to where I want to
So
be in 5 or 10 years.
Anyways, go on.
So I'm just saying, for me, it just seems easier to like just not be in a relationship. We can have these boundaries. We can have this kind of a relationship. This is what I want from you. This is what you want from me.
But isn't it
As
transactional then?
perhaps if you want to look at it that way.
No.
I mean, it
I'm just
really
asking. It's not meant as a.
for me it's more just meant as a layer of protection. I don't want to get hurt again. And so therefore I don't want to let myself get too involved. I don't talk about my feelings about them. I don't at this point I'm not even sure that I could accurately describe how I feel about a person because I have done so much work and put so much effort into pushing whatever it is I might think I feel out of the picture that I don't even know if I could identify what it is I actually feel. I know that I like this person and I know I want this person in my life in a certain capacity. When that person crosses that boundary or pushes a little bit closer into like outside of
Into
my
your
comfort
space.
zone, then I have to like pump the brakes and go, "Whoa, wait a second. That's too much, too far."
I get
It
that.
needs to,
I do
for me it's
understand
like a
that.
very controlled thing. Like I want all of these things, but I don't
Right.
want them in the capacity that they will have the potential to hurt me. I've already dealt with that and I don't want to do it again.
No, I can. Yeah.
Right.
I've been through difficult things. I mean, I'm not. You know, I mean, the room full of. It's funny. It's eclectic. Oh, it's got all the pieces that make me remember all the lessons I've had to. It,
My mom finally saw my new tattoo today. It says, "I am brave. I am bruised. I am who I'm meant to be. This is me." So this
yeah,
was the first time that
it's
she didn't react.
Katy
it's
Perry?
important to own yourself.
It's actually from one of the songs
It's
from The
some
Greatest
pop
Showman,
song. Yeah.
Okay,
the circus movie.
Okay, no, I've
you
heard
are
that. I've
such a
heard that song before.
musical.
I am. Well, okay, listen, it wasn't even because it was in a song. It
Mm.
was just because those words just speak to me because I look at myself in like my family dynamic and I am the black sheep. I'm the outsider, the outcast. I'm the one who didn't do anything right. I'm not in life in the position in life where everybody else expects me to be. Um, I'm the one with the crazy colored hair and the tattoos. Nobody else in my family has any of that.
So
Um,
that's considered kind of. I
it's
mean, I've
just
got
different.
holes in my body and tattoos. I mean, mine aren't, but yeah, I mean,
So
I've
for
never
me, these words were
meaningful. They were a decision
extremely
to, yeah.
meaningful.
Right.
And the part that I focused on the most was the "this is me." Like, you don't have to like it. You
No,
don't
that it's
like it,
some
you
you
don't
have
like
to
it,
Right.
take
but
ownership of who you are.
this is
Yeah.
me. Um and I think I've got a lot of great qualities.
I, I agree. I happen to know you, and I think that as well.
I also think that I'm bruised, broken. I've been down and I think that's what I
You know what?
wanted.
Rain makes the flowers grow.
Yeah,
Struggle
but
rings
that's
the school bell. That's where you learned
exactly.
everything that got you here. Yeah.
Exactly. But I think that a lot of the other members not had those same that same level of pain and trauma. So they don't have a way to comprehend that it can change who you are. Um,
It does. Forget it
so
can.
It
right,
When you
does.
deal with
We
PTSD and all of the we've dealt with that. That we come from those rooms. And so that no, you know what? I would love to set you up sometime to talk to Joy.
yeah.
Joy Howell.
Yeah.
You would I'll tell you
You
what,
guys
look
would
up
hit it
that
off
10
really
questions. You
well.
guys would really you would hit it off.
sweet.
Now, you're officially going to be the person that finished the least questions. So I will let you
My
know
bad.
that Grant,
It's
we
okay.
went,
Told you. I
no,
told you.
no, you got to come back. That's all.
Oh,
You
okay.
got to, I got more questions. I mean, do
Okay.
you want to answer how do I pray? That'd leave you 5 and 5, or we can leave that one for next time.
I can do it. I can do that one. Um, I was brought up religious, Methodist church.
Mm-hmm.
I had a falling out with them. They were not the people that
They were
they
not
were
happy,
supposed to be.
right?
Um, I was rejected when I came home at 20 years old with a baby and a divorce under my belt. Um,
Traditionally.
when I went to the place where I was supposed to feel safe and be embraced, I was not. And that was after a teenage trauma I dealt with the church, being pushed out of a praise band when I was involved. So I was not real hot to
Yeah.
trot for the religious organizations. But as I lived my life, um, and discovered mindfulness, looked into Buddhism
Mm.
and Muslim, all of these other religions, and spoke to the Jehovah's Witnesses
I get you. No,
time and time again.
I
Went to
used
one
to
of their
I used to love
services.
hanging out with them on the front porch. I'd talk to them about it and
Yeah.
tell them which parts they got wrong some
Um.
days.
So I found that my guiding principle
Uh-huh.
came from the Bible.
Okay.
Do unto others as you would have them do unto you.
Ex-
Period. Period. Nothing else matters. If I want people to be kind to me, then I need to be kind to them. It is such a simple concept. As far as prayer goes, I find that it's more silent reflection.
Like a meditation. Right.
Driving in the car, I
Okay.
might just think. Sometimes I use the word God, sometimes I
But
don't.
wherever you're comfortable, because it's a weird thing. So,
It's just that connection with something.
well, growing up here, we have a very Judeo-Christian background, so that even you know what, I don't fight with however I'm currently seeing how I describe whatever.
Because that doesn't really matter.
I've
You
got an
could
entire world fighting over the words. I'm not going to fight over them in my head. They're already doing that for
call
me.
him Bob. It doesn't matter. And I
Hold on.
went through a lot of the family AA programs
Okay, it's the
when my
Al-Anon.
when my ex-husband was going through all of his rehabs, I went to all of the family groups, and he had like 8 or 10 times, I think.
You guys weren't even together that long.
Oh no, my second
Oh,
husband.
the second.
Yeah,
Oh, I apologize.
yeah,
Yeah,
the
I
second
forgot.
husband.
It was the
Yeah.
second husband. Right.
But I went through a lot of those, and my husband would always say, I don't want a 12-step program. I am my higher power. Blah, blah, blah. He was missing the whole point. But
Yeah.
I went and attended all these family
Something
things,
bigger.
and I recognized, and I learned a lot of lessons through those. And it became that, listen, it's not, I'm praying, not necessarily to God, not to me, not to whatever, but to a higher power. That's all there is to
Right.
it. As long as you have that thought process with that higher power. I found that when I'm having those periods where I'm practicing being mindful more often,
Yeah.
I will meditate slash pray
Yeah.
more in those times. But I find that I would do it equally with gratitude and with despair. Whereas when I'm not practicing mindfulness regularly, all of my prayers tend to be out of
Out
despair.
of despair.
Um, but then when I take that minute to reflect and realize that, okay, this is not all about me. You don't go to somebody higher than you just when everything is bad. You don't get that support if you only go to someone when things are
Well,
bad.
right.
You need that connection on both
I
ends.
can't help you out getting there if you wait until you've already wrecked
I
the
used
car.
to
Right.
I used to do that. That used to be my way of dealing with, like, prayer and stuff. I would it was my last resort. Like, it was only there when I really
Mm-hmm.
really needed
In
it.
moments of desperation,
And
Yeah.
instead of using it for what it's really intended, because what really prayer is intended to do is to help you stay mindful. If you're praying with gratitude, thank
Mhm.
you for all of these things that I have, these blessings in my life, whatever you want to call them,
That's my primary meditation is gratitude.
then that's what your mind is going to focus on, your subconscious will focus on, and ultimately it will make you happier. If you're going to that moment of prayer with, please help me out, I'm so desperate, I've got nothing, everything is horrible right now, then that's the subconscious message that you're giving yourself. So if you don't change your
Mm.
own message, then you don't ever get
Well,
anywhere.
I like to think of it as the car keys rule. Why are car keys always in the last place you look? Why would you keep looking? You already found them.
Right.
Okay, but if you go looking for bad things, what's the first thing you're going to find? And are you going to keep looking?
Means
That,
probably.
but my point is that you found a thing and you were looking for bad things. There might be a good thing just past that, but you don't keep looking after you find the keys.
Right.
It's like the last place you look is the where you found it.
Mm-hmm.
And you were
Yeah.
looking for bad shit. You ain't gonna go looking over here for cake.
Because your expectation is going to be different, and now you're on guard.
I had to rewire my brain to the idea that one of the possibilities, not a likelihood, not a this is happen, one of the possibilities was that tomorrow could be better than today. Like just my argument was if you're willing to buy a lottery ticket, you have hope. Because you've admitted there's a possibility
That you could.
that it could be better tomorrow. I'm throwing with my lottery ticket. I want ready to go with, but that I
It almost goes back to that the AA principle, like one day at a time.
yeah,
And
be here.
that's really all it is. It's deal with the challenges that are immediately in front of you, not the challenges that you think are going to happen and you think are going to happen and you think are going to happen.
Right.
Deal with what's right in front of you right now.
Well,
If it's a good thing, then just sit and enjoy it. Don't think about what's going to happen or what could
oh
go
my God, this
wrong.
is a good thing. This is going to go wrong.
Yeah.
But that we get so attached to what we think, oh, this is going to happen, that's going to happen, as opposed to, and some of the worst things that have happened in my life have led to good things. Some things that I thought were really good led to some really crappy things. Well, you don't know. We shall see. All I can do is do the best I can today, lay it down, do it again tomorrow. That
Yep. Got to be like the river and just go.
You know what? I really, really do appreciate you. I don't know if you know that.
This is cool.
That, yeah. That it, and we've made our way around the world today,
I know. I know. I was telling my mom about it. Like, what is this podcast? I
right?
was like, I don't know. What do you mean? What is it? It's like a talk show. I mean,
Yeah,
there's
we're a
there's
talk
not a
show
theme.
We
There's not
talk
a
sometimes.
agenda.
sometimes.
Just thing.
We're not putting on a show. It's the stupidest idea for an entire studio and a bunch of shows. Do you know what we're doing? We're not putting on a show.
Like Seinfeld.
We make that
That
reference
was
regularly.
yeah.
That's
That was
we were.
yeah.
We might have been watching
We
Seinfeld that
talked
night.
about that a little bit.
But that, to some extent, because what we want people to see is no, it's not always perfect. That no, it's not just easy.
It's real.
And then we do it again the next day. And you know what? If it's a big fight, you'll watch us make sure we make up before the end of the show, just like every good sitcom. Yeah, but
Full House.
right. Ain't that the truth? Oh my God. Well, you know what? I appreciate you, Sarah, greatly.
Well, thanks for letting me take
I-
some time to come and chat.
You know what? Say that like it's that thing I was saying. Really, I don't. We're not even on the air now. I don't have words for how much. None of this happens without all these people. Without you showing up.